Hi, everyone. Welcome to Tuesday Talks on Facebook Live. I'm Adrienne Miller. I am the President and CEO of Women for Sobriety. And today I am here to talk to you about PAWS. And PAWS aren't just those cute things on the ends of our furry friends' legs, but it also is an acronym for post-acute withdrawal syndrome. So let's just launch right into it. Let's first break down that name. So post-acute withdrawal syndrome. So post-acute, when a lot of us think about withdrawal, we think about acute withdrawal. And we think about maybe having the shakes, maybe the sweating that comes with withdrawing from a substance. Maybe if you're a stimulant user, you think about sleeping for 3 days. Maybe if you're an opiate user, you think about that kind of hyperarousal and the vomiting and all those unpleasant physical symptoms. That's all the acute withdrawal. That's the body kind of readjusting to the substances leaving the system. Um, and it's not just somatic, right? It's not just what's going on with the body, but it can also be what's going on in our brain. So if you don't have a strong somatic adaptation or addiction, you might just feel a lot of anxiety, agitation, obsessive thoughts, and cravings, right, when you're trying to stop using. So that's acute withdrawal. That's usually resolved within a week. The caveat to that is cannabis, which stays in the system much longer because it's fat soluble, and that can last quite a few weeks for acute withdrawal of cannabis. But most other drugs, they're out of the system within 3 to 7 days. Um, so then post-acute withdrawal is after that initial withdrawal. So the body has purged those substances. For the most part, the system is, the bloodstream does not have substances in it. Um, but this body is still doing a lot of healing, right? And especially if you're watching this, you've probably been doing substances for a while. And so your body has really gotten used to functioning either with the influx and outflux of substances, or just with a kind of a steady stream of substances, whatever your substance may be. And so it takes a while for the body to stop anticipating that that substance is going to come in and then to heal some of the damage that has been caused by those substances. So post-acute withdrawal is something that was described by a guy named Terence Gorski. He came up with he described the biopsychosocial model of addiction that we talked about quite a few weeks ago in the disease debate. And there's a little bit of controversy. Some people say PAWS don't exist. Some people say they do. I've found in my 12 odd years in the recovery circles that a lot of people experience this. So whether it's, supported by research or not, it's pretty common. So I think it's worth talking about. Um, so why do we get post-acute withdrawal symptoms? Again, it's because the whole system is having to readjust to a new normal. Our brains are getting rewired, all kinds of things are going on in early sobriety that is really tough on the body. And so even though PAWS can be super uncomfortable, it's actually a sign that your body is healing. So I know, gotta get worse before it gets better. I don't know, but even my worst PAWS day was still better than a lot of my drinking and using days. Okay, so what are the PAWS symptoms? Inability to think clearly is one of them. So this can show up as rigid and repetitive thinking, right? Where you have the same thought over and over and over and over again. You just can't get something out of your mind. I know a lot of you have experienced that. Maybe really bad problem solving skills. So you have a problem and you just are having a really hard time thinking of a solution. Impaired decision making. We all a lot of us make really bad decisions early in sobriety. I remember like early in sobriety, I was like, I'm gonna have a baby for a gay couple. That'll keep me sober. Yeah, luckily my counselor was like, Adrienne, that's a terrible decision. And I paid attention to her. So did not have a baby for a gay couple in my first month of sobriety. Yay. Not that anyone would want me to. Um, And then the other thing about the inability to think clearly is some memory problems. So people will have memory problems. Oh, I guess that's technically the second pause symptom, memory problems. Um, so, like, talk about a recipe for disaster, right? You're trying to learn new things, learn new skills, and maybe you can't remember them in the moment. Um, and so that can be pretty disruptive. Um, Another pause symptom is typically described as emotional overreaction, or the opposite of that, emotional numbness. So you might have a lot of mood swings or feel like your mood is really dysregulated. And no surprise, right? Your brain chemistry is all off, it's readjusting. You probably don't have the best emotional coping skills, and that's why you've developed an addiction. Um, so you can either be super, super emotional or you can just feel completely flat. Nothing matters, doesn't matter. I can't feel anything. I can't get happy. I'm not sad. I'm not happy. I'm not angry, whatever. Just feel flat. Sleep disturbances are the fourth kind of pause symptom. Um, we all know how troubling that can be to not get sleep. Not to mention that a lot of people start using substances to help with their insomnia. Well, I should say to help with their insomnia, right? I thought the drinking really helped me get a good night's sleep. Not so much, but it sure helped me lose consciousness in the evening. So sleep disturbances can be a big thing. The next pause symptom is clumsiness or lack of coordination. All of a sudden, you're dropping things, you're knocking your tea over, whatever. Tripping on the sidewalk when there's nothing to trip on. I do that all the time, anyways. And then the last one is stress sensitivity. So something that shouldn't really be a stressor at all, you get behind a slow driver, that all of a sudden just seems like the worst thing in the world, whereas maybe another day it doesn't seem like a big deal. So that's kind of the main categories of pause symptoms. I think that was six. So inability to think clearly, memory problems, emotional overreactions or numbness, sleep disturbances, clumsiness, and stress sensitivity. Now, what really sucks about all those things is that they can all make each other worse, right? So imagine you're kind of having emotional overreactions, and then you forget that you had an appointment today. And so now you feel stressed that you're getting charged a no-show fee to your counselor. And then your rigid, repetitive thinking kicks in, and all you can think about is, I'm so stupid, I can't succeed, whatever. And then you try to go to bed and you can't sleep, and you're just stuck with these rigid, repetitive thoughts about yourself that maybe aren't so good, right? So that could be really problematic. Um, so the pause, not good, don't really want to experience it. So can we do about it? Number one thing you can do about it, I have good news for you. You've already done it. You've learned what it is. Congratulations. Just knowing that these are really common symptoms of early sobriety um, can be really helpful, right? And when I say early sobriety, I'm sorry, I skipped over this part in my notes. By early sobriety, I mean generally the first 3 to 6 months, but could be up to 2 years, they say, for especially like some heavier users and heavier drinkers. And then there's some studies that suggest, sorry for the long-term heavy opiate users, some studies suggest that pause can go on up to 10 years for severe heavy opiate use, which is why things like methadone and Suboxone are so helpful for people in recovery from those types of disorders. Anyways, I digress. So that's when I say early sobriety, it could be quite a while. So knowing that this is coming, knowing that this is normal can help you feel like, hey, I'm not going crazy. Knowing that it goes away, right? This is not forever. Eventually, your body and your brain will adjust. That can also really help because when you identify, oh, I'm having a pause attack, which is what I call it. When I'm having a pause attack, like I know it's not going to last forever. So that's the number one thing to do for pause. Um, the rest is really a lot of stuff that you should be doing anyways in your recovery. So um, it's mostly about stress and symptom management, right? So eating a healthy diet to support your brain and your body and all the healing that it has to do. Maybe getting a little exercise to stimulate some of those healthy um, internal endorphins going. Developing a routine can be really helpful when you're struggling with, problem solving and memory problems and stress sensitivity. Just establishing a routine and just kind of following it. So you're not having to make a million decisions every day, right? You just know I do this, 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 and this. Um, Similarly, making notes or using the calendar in your phone or programming reminders in your phone or putting up little sticky notes throughout the house. Those can be really helpful to help combat some of those memory challenges and to reduce some of the decision making throughout the day as well. Relaxation skills are something that we all need to get really good at. Things like deep breathing, guided imagery, meditation, or maybe yoga. If that's not your thing, maybe just taking a walk. Just take a walk. Don't put on your death metal on your headphones. Don't put on your podcast with that super energetic guy. No, something, maybe some soothing music or a guided meditation, or just tune into the sounds around you. Um, One thing that I like to do to relax is reading something calm and boring. That can also be a good relaxation skill. So practice a few relaxation skills. Oh, hot baths. Oh, yeah, love hot baths. So practice those. Find some that work for you and practice those. Um, if you can't sleep, still rest. Still go to bed and read a boring book. Even just laying in the dark and just relaxing your mind. Maybe put a book on tape or books on tape. Oh my gosh. Audio book, right? Put something like that on. You're still resting. You're still getting that downtime. And so that can really help if you're having those sleep disturbances. And then my number one tip for dealing with PAWS is to stay tuned in to your support network. I can't tell you how many times one of my 4C sisters spotted a PAWS attack in me well before I did, right? So I would show up for a meeting, and, oh my gosh, there's this, 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 and this, and going off. And they'd say, oh, it sounds like you're having a PAWS attack. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's what it is, right? So other people can see it way easier than you can a lot of the time, especially once you're in it. And your abstract reasoning is kind of messed up. So you're not going to think, oh, maybe I'm upset about this because I'm having this other issue. So that's it. That's PAWS. PAWS can kind of suck. You may or may not get it. There's things that you can do to make it more tolerable, and chances are it's going to go away. So let me know with questions in the comments or whatever. What's your experience with PAWS? Do you have any questions about PAWS? And hang in there. It's worth it. If you do give in to PAWS and you let that be a trigger for you to relapse, you may not be completely starting the clock again on your PAWS, but your brain knows that dysfunction pretty quickly. And so it's going to go back to that, and then it's going to take you even longer to get past PAWS. So just, use your tools and get through it. The more you do that, the sooner you'll be out of those woods. And then you can just go on to the regular business of long-term recovery. So, all right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great week. I will see you in 2 weeks with another sister skill. And it will be, oh, here's a good one, the problem with advice. Whew. All right. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.